Hi, I'm Parveen and today I'm going to show you how to make the most amazing tasting flat shish kebabs. I call them flat shish kebabs because they taste like a shish kebab but they're flat, hence the title. But what I call them is they're actually traditionally called jumbo kebabs. Okay, so we'll quickly go through the ingredients. It's a very simple, easy recipe. It's a firm favourite of all my children, especially my two boys who are at the moment are obsessed with working out at the gym. So it's lots of protein and very little fat. So we have here Omani spice bags for the flat jumbo kebabs. And then we have lamb mince. I've got some lamb mince here and you may think, oh, what's that other stuff next to it? That's chicken mince. And what I do is I use the chicken mince to bind the lamb. Really unusual, but it really works. No flour, no egg to bind. The chicken mince is sticky enough to bind it all together. And what you may notice is a little flecks of white, which is fat, and we need the fat, we want the fat because for the flavour and to join the lamb kebabs together. I've got here about half a kilo of lamb mince, and that's about £1 in old money. I still work in old money. In there, what I'm going to do is add some fresh coriander leaves. Okay, so we've got some fresh coriander, and a quick tip with coriander is if you want you just to, when you do buy your coriander, just break the stalk. Smell the stalk. Oh, I wish I had smelly vision. It smells absolutely amazing. And the flavour actually is in the stalk, not so much the leaves. We use the leaves as a garnish, but I'm going to use all this coriander now. Right, okay, now don't try this at home. It's such an Asian way of chopping, and my mother taught me, and I just can't get out the habit of chopping like this. Chop all the coriander in and have as much or as little as coriander as you like. I love it, so I'm going to add quite a lot. In goes the coriander. It smells delicious. In there, I'm going to add the spice bag. Just pop it all in, and that has all the dry spices that you need. And the next thing I need, I'm just going to add 2 green chilies and half an onion. Green chilies, just a tip about green chilies. If you want your kebabs hotter, add 3 or 4. Do not be tempted to add red chili powder. It's really bad for your tummy, too much red chili powder. Green chili is the way to go. And the second ingredient is half an onion. I've got this huge Spanish onion. I love them, mostly because they're easy to peel. I'll chop that down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to blitz that in my super duper little blender. So in there I've got half an onion. I'm going to add half an onion. Just roughly chop it in there. Just big chunks. And we have 2 green chilies. Just take off the tip and just pop it into there. 1, 2, 2. Okay, so add that. Just going to use the blades come out, so I'm just going to use my hands. And don't be frightened of using your hands. If you don't want to use your hands to mince everything, just a pair of gloves or something. I've got the green chilli, I've got the onion, I've got the dry spices. All I need to do now is add the salt. So you're looking at about a teaspoon and a half of salt, depending how salty you like it. Okay, give it a good mince. Get your hands in there and give it a good mince. And what I want to do is get all the spices, all the dry spices and all the fresh spices together. Quite a strong onion, that's lovely though. So we have all the dry ingredients and all the fresh ingredients together now. That will make about, I'd say 8 to 10 pates, sort of like quite thick ones, or if you like them smaller, go smaller, or even if you like them bigger, go bigger. Size doesn't really matter, it's whatever you like. Okay, so I'm going to put the pan on now, nice and hot. And I want to get the temperature of the pan really hot because I want the meat to sizzle. As I'm not using a lot of oil, I want to have a high temperature so that the meat just seals instantly. And what I'm using, as I'm just using plain, I've got rapeseed oil here. You can use olive oil, you can use sunflower oil, but what I don't use ghee. So to ghee or not to ghee, that is the question, and I don't ghee, I just use oil. Very quick tip of how to make the pates. I just line my hands with a bit of oil. It's really good for your skin, this. Grab a little bit of a pate and make a little mixture, make a pate. Okay, now watch carefully. Just use a plastic bag like this, put the pate inside the bag, and what I want to do is get a round flat pate, and I want it all the same thickness all the way around, so it's a really neat trick that actually my sister taught me. So watch carefully and just press down in the middle and peel it off. Hey presto. Okay, so that goes straight into the pan. It should sizzle nicely. It's got a nice sizzle there. And I'm just going to make 2 or 3 more. And I just want to give you another tip about making really flat kebabs. Is when the meat cooks, it will swell slightly. So if you press the centre of it down, eventually when the burgers come out, they'll be completely flat and they won't be sort of like a concave. Is it concave or convex? I can't quite remember. Anyway, not a scientist, just to cook. Pop it in there, last run, press down and press them in the centre harder, and then they'll be really flat when they're cooked. And that's the 3rd one going in. Peel it off, in it goes. Once the meat is sealed, turn the heat down and then very carefully turn them over. And we can see that's sealed lovely. So give them 2 to 2.5 minutes on each side. I like them well done, so I give them a good 5 minutes of cooking. Turn the heat down and let the meat cook on the inside. But don't be tempted to press down, because all you're doing when you're pressing down is dehydrating the meat and the water will come out. If you don't press down, just keep turning them over till they're cooked. Traditionally, lamb kebabs are served with a green chilli dip, so it's fresh green chillies, mint and fresh coriander. Put that together, add yogurt and salt, and you've got a green dip. It's really quite spicy. I'm always making it, but I never eat it. I like mine with dollop of ketchup. After all, I am a Yorkshire girl. You can take the girl out of Yorkshire, you can't take Yorkshire out of the girl. Okay, so they're nearly cooked now. Just a couple of more minutes. Okay, so there we are. Perfect. So try the recipe from my spice bag. Really simple, really quick.